Hi everyone. Since the Rugby World Cup's on here in New Zealand and the country's in the midst of rugby fever, I thought I'd have a look through my collection and see what New Zealand rugby records I had. And I did dig out a few. You can't get much more rugby than this. This is from 1960 and it's forced down highlights of the second test between New Zealand and South Africa. So it's an edited version of the commentary from that test match, number 5 in this series, commentary by Bob Irvine. That was in Johannesburg, that test. From the same year comes this single. This is Howard Morrison, My Old Man's an All Black, and this song is about this tour to South Africa. So Howard Morrison was a veteran of the Maori show band scene, and this song is a rewrite of the British song My Old Man's a Dustman. And what Howard Morrison does is here, actually the words are by Jerry Marito, sung by Howard Morrison. It's a comment on that tour to South Africa, because South Africa was under the apartheid regime at the time, and to go to South Africa as an All Black, a Maori would have to be classed as an honorary white. And this records a comment on that. It's probably one of New Zealand's first political protest records. It's Howard Morrison quartet there. This next one's only kind of vaguely related to rugby, but worth a mention. This is Foistmaster, a band from Palmerston North. For a while in the 1990s, there was a pretty exciting kind of underground alternative guitar kind of punky scene in Palmerston North of all places, and this is their 33 and a third RPM EP. They must have pressed a heap of these, because you still quite often see it for sale. Somehow I ended up with two of these 7-inch 33 RPM 3-song EPs, Geriatric Lovers and Masterton FES. The song that gets it in this video is Sportsperson, which is a kind of a commentary on I suppose the stereotypical rural New Zealand sports-loving person, and who's looked down on the kind of people who are in a band like Foistmaster. There's a little insert in here as well. It's a photo which has been copied on fax paper, so it's faded away over the years. A little handwritten note about how you can get hold of the band. I wonder if they still use that address. Next up, and this is what's playing now. This is Right, Left and Centre, Don't Go. This is from 1985, and some of you might know the Sun City record, We Won't Play Sun City. Well, this is kind of the New Zealand equivalent. So the New Zealand Rugby Union was proposing an All Blacks tour of South Africa in 1986, and in 1981 in New Zealand, when the Springboks, the South African rugby team, had toured New Zealand, there'd been really violent and full-on protests throughout the country, clashes on the street between protesters and police, helmets, batons on both sides, really violent aggression. And the country was really torn in two by that tour. So when the Rugby Union was proposing a tour of South Africa by the All Blacks in 1986, a lot of New Zealanders were opposed to that tour also, because they felt it was supporting the apartheid regime in South Africa. So Chris Knox and Don McGlashan, along with people like Annie Crummer and Rick Bryant, blues artists from the Jive Bombers, and other Kim Willoughby. So you've got a real mix there of the pop mainstream and the alternative scene of the day come together to make this quite poppy record. This got a lot of airplay. It got play on TV. It's kind of a reggae light, a bit of Jamaican steel drum, and calling for the Rugby Union not to send the All Blacks to South Africa, which in the end they didn't do, although a pirate team called the Cavaliers did go in their place. And finally, this rugby special video. This is also from 1985. This is punk oi band No Idea. This is a brilliant record, really good. This band had a kind of a fairly aggressive skinhead following, and in the end that was the reason why they called it quits. I used to know the guy Nigel who was on this record playing guitar. He went on to play accordion, busking in the streets of Dunedin, and he was in the Paddy Hooligans, an Irish band in that city as well. But yeah, he said that the aggression from the skinheads got too much and it just wasn't their scene at all. This was a really kind of band focused on leftist politics and non-violence. And the song on here, Rugger Bugger, on the second side one, double side one EP, Rugger Bugger, is again a comment on that kind of sports-loving, rugby-loving personality of the 1980s, the kind of people who might be beating up or chasing down the street, the kinds of people who were into a band like No Idea. So there's a quick run through some rugby related records to mark the Rugby World Cup being on here in New Zealand.